about why teams aren't supposed to rely on power plays in the playoffs is because there's less penalties in the playoffs. But you see, one penalty lane regulation, 3 in overtime last night. Has that changed in the game since you were first in it? Just more willingness to call penalties in those situations?
I don't have an answer to that. I'm not sure. I can't think back 10 years ago about, whether there was more called. And I don't know if you can recall or not, but I don't know. I just, we had to kill a couple. We got one, and, for us it ended up being good and a difference. But as far as relying on power play and penalty kill, I think it's important. I think that can make the difference. So there's certain things that can make a difference in a series. Your specialty teams is one of them that can make a difference.
Peter, this team talks about how it's built the confidence that it has through the course of the season. You can build that confidence. You came back in a lot of games, right? But when you do it in the playoffs and you see the result, does that build the belief in the playoffs? Does it almost start anew when it starts the playoffs? And to do it now, does that carry into game?
I was thinking about that, and I watched the other game last night and going down 0-3. And to me, that's probably, the question that you're asking, it didn't feel that way to me. I kind of said that last night, with some of the questions. It felt like a game that had two teams that were playing pretty good. And inside of it, like a heavyweight bout, you're going to get punched, and then you're going to have to punch back. And I don't know if it was this, miraculous knockout in the 15th round. Do you know what I mean? It was, to me, it just went back and forth, and I said that last night. I thought we started the game really well, and then I thought that the way the period ended, the first period, well, that took us down a little bit. But it wasn't like these big lulls where we were just down, and somehow we managed this at the end. It went back and forth. I thought we came out in the second period with all the right intentions and doing everything right, and then they score that goal late in the the second period, and so you got to pick it back up and figure that out again. And so I know what you're asking, and I do think there's been games where we've been down, we haven't played well, we've been down, and we found a way to come back and do it. This was more just, I think, kind of going blow for blow with a really good team, and we were able to hang in there and get one punch off in the double overtime.
But I understand, it's the passing test, the first test, because not that the Washington series wasn't a test, but you trailed for 3 minutes in that series.
Yeah.
You never trailed going into the third series in that series.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different. When you do, in game one, you never trailed. Right?
Mm-hmm. So
that passing, that initial test, if you will, does that have a carryover effect into the series?
Maybe.
Could it?
Maybe.
Have you experienced that?
I've also experienced where, you get a little bit of momentum, but this team gets a little bit more desperation, and it flips right away. And so, I know that they're going to be ready for game 3. We're going to have to be ready. I think again, you can draw positives from things through the course of the year. You can draw positives about the way you play, or the way you practice, or the way you can start a game and get a lead, or the way you can come back in a game. I just thought last night just kind of went back and forth. I just thought it was kind of blow for blow, and somebody's got to win it. And so we were fortunate we got the power play and were able to capitalize on it.
So you know that any playoff game can go for a long time, right?
Yeah.
So after the second period last night, you're going 11-4.
Yeah.
And when this happens, first of all, how do you think your bottom six, not only the bottom six, but how do you think your guys reacted to the constant switching?
Yeah.
And does it, when you actually have the game, does it make you rethink? Can you have a player who may not be able to play after the second period?
I think you look at their minutes too, and they've got guys at 6 minutes, 7 minutes. I just think that's the nature of the beast in playoffs, and it's about.
So that's not a concern.
It is, leaving a. I think about everything. I've already thought about the question that you're asking, and making sure that we're going into Carolina, that we have the lineup that we want in there, and I understand why you're asking the question. I just feel like that happens all the time in playoffs. When you get down to it, you're trailing a third period. You got to get regardless of minutes, right? It's about winning that hockey game. And so you're constantly, I think about, as I was running the game last night, I was thinking about, Mika's line coming off. Maybe Bergie's line goes out, they're playing for 30 seconds, and all of a sudden there's an offensive zone faceoff, and you put Mika back out there. You just jump in the lineup. You're trying to tie that game. You're trying to get into that game and get it tied up. And then the same thing held true for overtime in the way I played it. I had laughed double shifting last night because in my eyes when I'm watching the game, he was going. He had pop in his legs and the puck was on his stick and he was making things happen, so I'm trying to get him out there. And so sometimes when you're doing, I understand your question, but sometimes when I'm doing that, I'm doing it based on what I see in the zone time and what's going on, the icing or the opposition or they're tired, and I'm just jumping our guys trying to get back in. I think it's different too. Sometimes you can do it with the score of the game. So when you're up 4-0, you can get that roll of the bench and you can just stay out there. But when you're chasing that game and then it's into overtime and every decision matters, I'm doing what I think is right.
So there were a lot of quick shifts.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of mixing.
Yeah.
So
there had to be.
Right. So how have your guys? How does a team become practiced in that?
Yeah. So the top two lines I didn't mix. Maybe one shift. I mean, they were 98% consistent, and then from there, I'm moving that bottom around. I do think I said this last night. I thought we got better as the game went on. I thought that we gave up some big chances. We got big saves. We gave up some chances on the power play that we needed big saves on. We generated some big chances, but the top two lines remained fairly consistent, and I did juggle the bottom six a little bit. I thought they handled it okay. I thought that they were able to do that and not miss a beat too much.
Within that, how do you think you guys got better? What areas of the game continued into overtime?
Well, I didn't like the first period and the second half, and so again, the second period, I thought we came out and played a better period. They did chances. They outdid us pretty good in the chances in the first period, and we were loose underneath, and they got a couple redirect goals. We didn't block the shot. We didn't get them. There was things that happened inside of coverage. They seemed to own the possession a little bit more in the first period, and then in the second period, I thought we fought back, and I actually thought maybe we got the edge in chances, and then in the third, it was just hockey back and forth, and. Again, some of those big chances that we gave up there, they came off of kind of odd man rushes on our power play. Chessie made some big saves, and so I thought that just from a standpoint of 5-on-5, I thought we got better. The power play got better. It scored a couple of big goals when we needed to have it score a couple of big goals. The penalty kill I thought was good all night, but like I said, I just don't think it's one of these games where one of these series where you're just going to go out there and just punch somebody for 60 minutes and just beat them up and win the game 6-0. So it's going to go back and forth, and you're going to have to be able to handle that up and down.